This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Vinanz has placed a first order for the first ever USA-made Bitcoin miners from the California-based Arderdine Incorporated. The initial order for 20 of these miners has been placed, and joining us today is the chairman, David Lenegas. So David, tell us a bit about why you've decided to go for Made in America. Is it something to do with the election?
Yeah, no, hi, Mark. No, there's a lot to do with the election. We were looking, now that we're listed on the London Stock Exchange with the ticker symbol, amazingly, BTC, which I think will be worth hundreds of millions of pounds to us as we sort of develop this business. But irrespective of the ticker symbol, we're growing out a fast expanding Bitcoin mining model in America. And up until now, we've been buying Bitmain, Watts Miner, Canaan. I mean, they're all made in China.
Yeah.
And with Trump coming into power, and with the whole MAGA movement and putting tariffs on all imports into the US, things are going to get a bit more expensive. And we were talking to our hosting group in Indiana, and they said, look, why don't you try these USA miners? They said they're blindingly fast, super efficient. The service is off the clock. And we originally looked at buying 80, and we thought, let's just buy 20, get them online. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll have those online. And once we know that they sort of fit within our wallet and everything works smoothly, we'll definitely look at buying more.
Okay.
At $53,000 a Bitcoin break even, that's pretty competitive. I mean, even some of the faster Chinese units, they're down into the $48,000 Bitcoin break even.
Mm.
There's so much better value for money and return on investment numbers with these American-made ones. I mean, it might even become a habit for us to continue buying more and more.
Okay. So they come online when? In the next few weeks?
In the next few weeks. So we paid for them yesterday. The order was placed. They've got them in stock. They'll get them across from California to Indiana. They'll hook them up. They've got room to hook them up. They've got slots for us. We've booked some extra slots for the new facility that Megawatt Inc. are building at the moment. So we've booked some extra slots. So that'll take us to well over 100 miners in Indiana alone. And we're excited to be buying American-made.
Good. Good, yeah, absolutely. You also purchased another 20 additional miners, the Antminers, the SJ19 Pros as well. At the same time.
No, that's what we originally started with. So the news release stated that we had 20 SJ Antminers from Bitmain already installed in Indiana, just because that was the beginning of our relationship in Indiana. So they've gone well. The relationship with Megawatt's gone extremely well. And that's why we said, okay, let's expand there. So now they've been running since July. And now we're looking at moving to over 100 units on our way to sort of 300 to 500 units in Indiana. So this next phase of acquisition, particularly with these Arderdines, AT2880s, that's really the beginning of our expansion phase in Indiana. Yeah, and the more miners we put in Indiana, the cheaper the power price across the board for us. And Bitcoin mining is all about reliability and the cost of power. So once we get over 100 units spinning in Indiana, our power price actually drops to 7 US cents a kilowatt hour. And that's across the board. And that really makes things even more profitable for the ones we've already got.
Okay. And that would be the plan, to get to 100 if you're happy with these first 20.
Well, we want to be at 100 in the coming weeks.
Right. Okay.
It might take us a month. And then once we've got all those hooked up, we'll look at sort of expanding out to sort of 300 to 500. Indiana's a place that we can grow to 500, I think, quite quickly and comfortably. They're good guys to operate with. Yeah.
Okay.
Uptime for the units is very good compared to some of the other states in the US.
Okay.
So it's more about your relationship with your hosting group. Do they look after you? Do they keep your kit running? Do they give you a good power price? Do they give you good service? Do they fix things quickly if they break? So, they're good guys. So we want to expand with them.
So this would give you, let's say in a month's time or so, this would give you how many miners running total across the States?
So we're talking with them about giving us enough miners to get us over 1,000.
Right, okay.
In North America. And I've always had this vision that if we could get to 1,000 miners by Christmas, helped by the fact that we've listed on the London Stock Exchange, that then accelerates our move to sort of 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, with the view that ultimately we get into the 15 to 20,000 miners in North America. Whether or not we want to get bigger than that in the next few years, I don't know. We'll just sort of take it as it comes. A lot depends on the Bitcoin price.
Of course. And what's the word on the street with the Bitcoin price then, David?
Well, it's historically after the halvings, we're pretty much in the band that it should be.
Okay.
There's 30 US states now looking at putting in a Bitcoin strategic reserve. On top of that, of the US government itself, everybody's very bullish. I mean, at the moment, it's range bound between sort of $94,000 to $100,000 a Bitcoin. I think my gut feeling is once it breaks 100,000 the next time and crawl its way through, I think we'll see it sort of continually move up. By then, a lot of the US government policy around Bitcoin will be a little bit more defined. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to see boom and bust type moves in Bitcoin. I'd rather see a nice steady movement in the direction that we want. So I think institutions are a lot more comfortable that this is a proper investment class. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the whole idea with Vinanz is really just to keep expanding, keep building, as you say, like a strategic reserve for Bitcoin. I mean, how many do you have in the wallet at the minute? Do you know?
I can't tell you that, Mark, because that happens under information.
When can you tell us that?
No, we'll come out with the accounts.
Okay, good.
But we're doing fine. But we're using a lot of our generated Bitcoin to buy more miners as well. So it's self-fulfilling. We mine Bitcoin, we buy more Bitcoin miners. We mine Bitcoin, we buy more Bitcoin miners. So the whole idea is to manage the balance of the mathematical equation on how much Bitcoin do we keep and how much Bitcoin do we deploy into new miners for growth. But we're in really good position right now. Probably the best financial position the company's ever been in since we listed on Aquis 2 years ago. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good. Well, thank you very much for joining us for the update. David Lenegasti, Chairman of Vinanz. Looking forward to seeing those accounts when they're due.
All right. See you later, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.